heartbeat, there is a voice that urges you to listen. And when you listen closely, you can hear the echoes of a billion lives. Lives that have stories to tell. Stories of people unknown that we can relate to, that touch our souls, and that can be profoundly impactful. Stories that motivate us to respect every heartbeat and the diversity of ability. Stories that can be humbling, influencing, and help prompt a change. Stories that teach us the most important lesson of all. The lesson in the art of celebrating life. Presenting 15 stories that resonate from the heart. Gifted. Inspiring. Powerful. Soul-stirring.
Hello. Hi. This is a little unreal for me. Yeah, I'm not standing here as the SVP of Globalization Services or the former Managing Director of SAP Labs. I'm just standing here as a co-author, and I can tell you it's still not sunk in. So firstly, on behalf of my co-author Sudha Menon, who couldn't make it here because she's in the US, and Random House, thank you so much for being here for the book launch of Gifted. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up in such big numbers. Let me first spend 5 minutes to tell why I wrote this book and what was the inspiration behind this and why I fundamentally believed that these stories need to be told. It goes back to the India Inclusion Summit 2012. And how many of you were there for that summit? Maybe 10 of them in this room. Now, the interesting thing that I observed is that we had a fantastic lineup of speakers. We had Dr. Kiran Bedi, we had Bombay Jayashree at that time. She was in the news for being nominated for the Oscars. We had amazing lineup of speakers, including Harsha Bhogle and many others. The whole day was a lot of inspiration. And then one guy came and blew off the minds of everyone. And that was Siddharth Jaikumar. So here was a guy with cerebral palsy. He came and spoke for 25 minutes and he got a standing ovation. Kiran Bedi came and said, you are the bravest man I've ever met in my life. And coming from Kiran, that's a great compliment. Harsha Bhogle, for the first time, he said, Firoz, I've never been nervous in front of a microphone, but today I was nervous. So of all the stars that were there, the one person who got a standing ovation was Siddharth, was probably the most unknown guy amongst the lineup of speakers. It set me thinking, why is it that one person is able to connect with every person in the audience? And that's when I said, there's something unique. And I was trying to see what is the leadership lessons that I can learn from someone like Siddharth. The second year, when we did the India Inclusion Summit, we again had a fantastic lineup of speakers, from Devdutt Patnaik to Santosh Hegde to many great names. The three people who got a standing ovation were the three unknown people. Malvika Iyer was the MC for the evening. It was Sandeep Rao who had everybody in splits for 2 days. He was the only guy who spoke on both the days. Because of popular demand, everybody said we want to hear Sandeep again. And we had Gunga Pahalwan. So he was the only speaker who couldn't speak. Isn't it ironical that a speaker who's deaf and mute, cannot speak, came to the stage and spoke with sign language for 30 seconds and got a standing ovation? And that set me thinking again, why is it that these people connect so inherently with everybody in the audience? And that is where I was convinced that the stories of these people need to be told. And I actually started writing a leadership book. And I found 3 or 4 very interesting patterns through the people that I was trying to study. And one of the patterns was that people fundamentally want to see a normal person win. People love to see an underdog win. People fundamentally want to see people win who were not supposed to win. And that's what human beings relate to. And I said, if these people were not supposed to win and they have won, then I'm sure if I write a book, it would create an impact, it would sell. But the challenge was, in the publishing industry, books on disabilities have been written and they have never been very successful for whatever reason. So the publishers were not necessarily very convinced about the idea, but I'm grateful to Random House for having the courage to do it. And what we did was, over 2 years of research, we reached out to close to 25 people, interviewed them, and finally we came to a list of 15 whom we have covered in the book. Me and my co-author signed up and said 2 or 3 fundamental ground rules of writing the book. The first was, every single rupee from the book will go to the cause of disability. The second was, this book was not about Feroz and Sudha at all. This is about the heroes in the book. And I was clear. If there is a book launch that is happening, I am not getting any superstars. I am going to get the stars from the book to come and share their stories. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite you once again for the book launch of Gifted, and I have 3 of them who are covered in the book to share their journeys in their own ways. The first is a very dear friend of mine. The first time I met him, I said, Sandeep, boy, you look like Saif Ali Khan and you even sound like Saif Ali Khan. And Sandeep said, Feroz, you're wrong. Actually, Saif looks like me and he sounds like me. Right? So you can't have more than 5 seconds without this guy cracking a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite Sandeep Rao. Can I have the microphone, please? And thank you so much, Sandeep. Sandeep has a great fan following amongst the women. I know all the women who came here today is to look at Sandeep. So Sandeep, you have an audience in front of you.
Hello? Yeah. Thank you, Feroz. You're too kind. Good afternoon, actually. This is very early for me to perform. Usually I don't wake up before 5 in the evening, so speaking in a corporate setting is very scary. There's no alcohol here, so it makes things a lot harder. So good afternoon, and please give a big round of applause for Feroz, and it's fantastic being here. I like how I was brought onto a Saif Ali Khan song. It's weird. I'm not like Saif Ali Khan, even though I sound like him and I look a bit like him. I'm not like him because, unlike Saif, I am educated, so makes things a bit hard, this damn education, So it's lovely being here doing stand-up comedy. When you hear the other guys' stories today, it's actually inspiring. Like mine, I just do jokes. I drink and I make jokes, so it's pretty fantastic, my job, it's nice. I was recently voted as India's funniest partially blind English-speaking stand-up comic who wears skinny jeans and drinks whiskey Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 p.m. So it's a pretty big achievement, considering I'm the only one. It's good being over here, and it's good to see all of you come out here and support this book, especially because it's, besides me, the 14 others are just fantastic. I haven't met all of them, but I've met a few of them, and I'm just sitting back going, why am I in this book? But I am from Bangalore, and there's another disability which many people don't know about me. It's I'm Brahmin. It's a huge problem in this society. Do we have other Brahmins here this afternoon? Yeah? Hey, let's have a caste party right now. What do you say? It'd be fantastic Brahmins coming together at the party. Hey, my thread is longer than yours. Yeah, it's weird because Brahmins are really people, right? We can't really celebrate what we do. Like Punjabis know how to party, right? Like Brahmins, we can't party. But hey, Sridhar, let's party like it's 1555 AD. But what are you saying, man? We can't drink, we can't eat, we can't smoke. Bro, let's read. This party is epic. Yeah, it's a Ramayana, it's epically food. Yeah, but I'm not a typical Brahmin, man. You know, I have a lot of problems that Brahmins look down upon. My family doesn't like what I do because unlike other Brahmins, I do drink, I do eat meat, I do smoke, I respect women. Just doesn't go down well with my community. My Brahmin family is fantastic, right? My uncles are just the most amazingly stupid gentlemen ever. This uncle comes up to me once, he's like, Sandeep, I don't like you making fun of the Brahmin. Why you do that? He said, because it's you I'm making fun of, right? Because see, Brahmins, right, they have this problem, Kannadiga Brahmins especially, where they like to blame everything on people, but they don't do anything about the problem, right? Like my uncles do this, they have this habit. Like right now, since the IT thing happened in India, especially in Bangalore, they blame everything on North Indians, right? They're like, see, Bangalore was good at one point, but these North Indians came and spoiled it, right? And they use that as an excuse for everything. They're like, see, my wife was thin, but these North Indians came. It's like, what's the connection? Like, my son has piles, but these North Indians, say, what? Oh, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, North Indians cause piles. It's a new theory I've come up with. But it's lovely coming back. I recently traveled abroad to New York City. And you've been in New York City? Give me a trip in New York City. It's good going there, especially as an Indian one, because Indians are the most fascinated when we travel abroad by the smallest things, right? You just see a bunch of Indians in New York standing going, wow, road. It's ridiculous, right? Because, and you get on like roads in America, you just get on without like sort of second doubting anyone, right? Like there's an elevated expressway, you just get on there, you don't worry about them. But in Bangalore, we're a little more suspicious of our government, right? Like, the cab driver was like, sir, I'm going to take you on the new elevated express highway from Devanahalli Airport to the city. And before getting on, I asked the question that any Indian would ask before getting on a newly built road, right? Sir, are you sure they finished building it? Because that's how we are, right? Because they have these things in New York which I was fascinated by, right? Modern advancements we've never heard of back in India, called footpaths. That you can walk down without dying. Like our footpaths in India are like an evil video game thrown out there just to test humanity, right? It's like a terrible video game. It's like level 1, hole in the ground, 10,000 feet deep. Level 2, Hijra coming to you, death in a eye. Level 3, a cow. Level 4, a motorbike. Level 5, a cow on a motorbike. Level 6, a Hijra who's a cow touching a motorbike. Level 7, a cow who's a Hijra on a motorbike touching a midget. Level 8, you have graduated Prince of Persia. Level 9. It's like, that's how to walk. But India's beautiful and it's got all its problems, right? Because I'm partially blind, right? I can see a little bit, but Indian men can't accept that. Like I tell people, uncle, I'm partially blind. They're like, why? I said, I don't know, I had perfect sight, and I saw her daughter's face, it just went there. And they ask you stupid questions, right? The uncle asked me, like, Sandeep, if you can't see, how do you shave? If you can't see, how do you have sex? As uncle, just like you, I pay for it, you know? And doesn't go down too well. He's like, I don't pay for it. Sex jokes in the afternoon, I'll stop, sorry. Just after lunch, it's a bit too much. But it's weird, right? Because you do all these crazy things. Because, you know, I drove in India for 5 years. And no one could tell, right? I drove in India, but it's weird you can do these things, right? Because in Indians' mindsets, when I say I'm partially blind, they can't accept it, right? Because it's always two extremes in Indians' minds. Either a person's in a wheelchair or they can walk. Either a person's blind or they can see. Either a person's retarded or they work for Infosys. It's always... Don't worry, I switch it around when I do it at Infosys. I just say we're pro there. Yeah, it's strange, man. I do stand-up comedy now. I travel a little bit doing this job. And what I find interesting is that, right, you go to different parts of the country to do these things, and I drink, right? I love going out to bars, and bars in India really mess with me, especially the toilets in the bars. Because I think our Indian planners, regular planners are like, wait, we have a lot of people coming in tonight, let's have a big bar to get it out and a big bar to get it in, a big bathroom to get it out. But no, Indian planners work the other way. There were 10,000 men are coming tonight, put one urinal, enough. Because going to a toilet in a pub in India has become a race between your bladder and the person next to you, their bladder. It's ridiculous, right? And you finally get there to the toilet, you find it, and earlier it was easy to find, right? They had those stick figures, the man standing like this, the lady, the frog standing like this, I knew where to go, yes. But now they made these creative signs that don't to confuse whom, especially people who can't see. Ridiculous signs like a thorn and a petal. What? A nut in a bolt. You're like, A feather with a scarf and a balloon with a hat. Man, I don't know about you guys, but the last thing I want to do when my bladder's bursting with beer is solve the Da Vinci Code. It's ridiculous. But I do comedy now, but I used to do some work in radio earlier as well, and radio is a great medium for communication, but the radio industry in Bangalore comes up with some of the most disastrous ads you've ever heard of. Like last November, there was a sale for pearls in Bangalore. By Sri Krishna Chetty Jewelers and Sons was selling pearls to the Bangalore market. They could have come up with multiple ads to sell it to us, but this is what they did, the geniuses at radio. The ad they came up with was, Sri Krishna Chetty Jewelers and Sons presents to you the Pearl Harbor promotion. What? Like even the Japanese guys are like, whoa, that's a bit too far, man. That's a bit too far. Like what's next, right? Like what's the next ad coming up? Like Mantri Developers presents to you the 9/11 construction offer. We had 4 buildings, 2 are missing. What the hell? But I am, as I said, I'm a Bangalorean. Do we have other Bangaloreans, Kannadigas here? I'm sorry. I apologize. Do we have other groups? Do you have any other groups? Do you have Tamilians? What was that? The creepiest sound a Tamilians made. Any Tamilians? Woo! It's like Chaitanya sat on you or something. Woo! Do we have any Andhra people? I used to confuse whether it's Andhra, Telangana, just happening. That's good. That's the only Southernese that matters. Maldusa and Dubai doesn't matter. It's good. So as I said, I do comedy. It's lovely being here doing this, and it's weird because Indian aunties love giving you remedies for your problems. Has this happened to any of you? And why is that every problem we have in India has to have turmeric as a solution for it? It's like from everything, right? Like from blindness to like herpes, take turmeric. Mix that with green tea. It's like mad, man. Has anyone tried that therapy, turmeric? As I said, right, my aunts have this thing where Indian aunties have this thing. I don't know if it's Indian aunties, I don't want to generalize, but the moment they see a person with a disability on the cover of a magazine, it becomes inspiration. But the moment that person starts dating their daughter, they're like, poor thing, he can't see, Because it's Indians have this thing where they instead of helping, for the most part, they use words. They have these words like poor thing, papa. In Tamil it's pavam. In Hindi it's pechara. In Punjabi it's honey sing. It's this. Poor thing, he can't sing. He's honey sing. But it's Papa, it's a great thing, right? Because this Papa thing they don't just use for disabilities. Like this poor thing, Papa, they're like, Papa, he can't see, right? But they use it for everything, right? Like you heard about Rekha, she didn't get married, but Papa, she has MBA. It's like, what is that connection? But it's mental, man. Like in Indians, we have so many problems, right? We have so many problems in the country, and Indians don't really care about problems. We in fact love blaming people for problems, as I said. Because the rest of the world right now is going through severe issues. Global warming is one such thing. Indians don't care about global warming. Their approach to global warming is like, global warming, bro, turn on the AC, bro, what is that? No, but as I said, we have a lot of strange things happening, man. We have a lot of strange things happening in Bangalore. A lot of changes happening, a lot of big issues coming to be addressed. But I love being here at this point in time in Bangalore, right? Because I can do things. As I said, I drove in India for 5 years. No one could tell. Like in America, I'd be behind bars, right? But I stopped driving one day because I crashed my car into a stationary jeep. Embarrassing, right? But more importantly, it was a missionary jeep, by which I mean a jeep that belonged to a missionary, not a jeep on its back, not that kind of stuff. Not that kind of missionary for those 3 people who got it. Now the thing, the next day I went to pay the priest, the father. I said, Father, here's the money for the damages I caused your jeep. And he said, son, I don't want your money. But let me tell you one thing. let Jesus show you the way. I said, with all due respect, Father, Jesus could have shown me where the damn Jeep was. So it's nice, man. And I travel, as I said, travel a little bit doing this job. And it's interesting, right? Traveling, especially back to Bangalore, for me has become an embarrassment because Bangalore, of course, now called by different names. Bengaluru, of course. Bengaluru is a really, really weird sounding name, especially you're coming back. Captain on the aircraft welcomes you back home. And he makes his announcement nowadays where he's like, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We will shortly be landing at the Bengaluru International Airport. Thank you for flying English Airlines. I'm as surprised as you are that we're landing. Or for that matter, we took off either. On behalf of my friendly crew, pay me. I'm your captain, Vijay Mani, whatever. Right? Because imagine my North Indians, give me a cheer, North Indians? Many North Indians, give me a cheer, make some noise, North Indians. Yeah! That's exactly, I like North Indians because you guys are bold, you're like, yeah! What did you say? I didn't hear you. Because imagine you're traveling up north and you say land in, say, Chandigarh airport. And the captain welcomes you back with a similar welcome message and he says things like, ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing at the Chandigarh International Airport. On behalf of our friendly crew, Guzada Perimaki. Thank you for flying Chart Airways. I'm your captain, you're Hari Singh, sorry. Yeah, but no, I love North Indians, man. No, that's not a joke, I really like North Indians. But there's one thing which I find very, very confusing, right? It's not related to North Indians, but it's in India right now, a lot of things changing. Fashion is a new thing, right? Fashion is a fantastically new thing, but what's amazing about fashion is that it spoiled the English language for me, right? Because fashion is one of those things where a lot of women these days look pretty, because most of them hide behind this deception called Zara. So for most of us men, it's very disconcerting when a lady looks very pretty, comes up to you, opens her mouth and says things like, hi, explain me what you do. What? No, because see, if you're pretty and you speak English badly, it's very confusing for us men. See, if you're ugly and you speak English badly, no one gives a crap. Because God's punished you anyway, it doesn't matter. But if you speak English badly when you look pretty, it's damn confusing for us men. You can't come up to me looking pretty and open your mouth and say me what you do. It's like, what? No, you can't. If you're ugly, then say me, do me, say me, whatever, that doesn't matter. Because there should be a rule that if your clothes cost more than your education, you should shut your mouth. There should be a rule. Guys, I'm blind, I can do this joke, relax, okay? No, but there's an excuse. You can be excused. You can be excused. If you are pretty and you speak English badly, the only time you can be excused is if you're Punjabi. Then it's fine. Then you're forgiven. It's okay. I'm going to hell, I think I really am. But it's fantastic because you see these people on Facebook, these say me, do me, explain me people, right? And they put up every Monday morning, they think their news update, their status update is the new philosophy of the world. They put up rubbish. Every Monday morning I have to read this, and I do read it because I have nothing else to do. Every Monday morning putting up philosophy like, life is all about having had what you haven't had. But if you haven't had what you haven't had, it means you haven't had what you haven't had. What is that? And the other rubbish relationship advice like, life is all about moving forward without moving back. That means I'm in the same place. No. But the worst, or the favorite, depending on which side of the spectrum you like, are the foodies. I know you're here. Foodies, give me a cheer. Yeah. You can make a person who eats normal food feel like a real bad person. Hey, what do you have for lunch? Lunch? Chee. I tell you what I had, bro. I went to a buffet, I had 35 courses, 35 starters, 35 souffle counter, buffet counter, sushi counter, jalebi counter, water counters, ice cream counter, all the counters. I'm a foodie. You're not a foodie, my friend, you're a glutton. Fine line over there. And what's this? I don't understand. Why is it that when we tweet about food, take photos of food, tell people what we ate, with whom we ate, when we ate, with whom we're going to go back and eat, with whom we're going to go back and eat again after that, with whom we're going to take photos again, with whom we're going to Instagram that crap, we call them foodies. Do the same thing with alcohol, they send us to rehab. I can't do that, right? Like 15 beers in the morning, 15 whiskeys in the afternoon. I'm an alky. Hi. I do that, right? And what's this addiction we have with calling all the addictions we have with the IE sound? Like addiction with food, foodie, addiction with drugs, druggy, addiction with assholes, roadie. Addiction with progress, Modi. It's Thank you guys, I've been Sandeep. Have a good afternoon. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring up the next person. Yeah. Will you introduce it?
Thank you.
Introduce,
Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool. So I have the honor of bringing up my friend. Actually, we just met, but we got along really well. We were just discussing how to check out girls without them knowing. It's really good, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's a person who's I met recently, but I know we're going to go a long way as friends. So please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and a person who's the founder of Kickstart Cabs. He's doing a lot of good for people like me and others with disabilities. So please put your hands together. Welcome on stage, Mr. Ankit Jindal.
It's quite a pressure, to give a speech after my friend Sandeep has given a hilarious kind of a laughter. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for Sandeep? He's superb. As my friend Sandeep introduced myself, my name is Ankit, and I'm a marketing manager at Wipro, and I'm also the co-founder of Kickstart Cabs. I had a few credits, achievements to my credit, barring having a progressive career at Wipro and Infosys, and of course starting up two social enterprises, two very unique ones. Kickstart Cabs being the first of it, it's the first of its kind inclusive cab services for people with disability in India, and Bangalore is the first city where we started its operations. So that's one, and of course we co-authored a book called A Value Route Through Business Success. That was again one of the first of its kind handbook for corporates to really become more accessible. Barring this, of course, my work at Wipro and my social sector, there have been a few achievements that have been accredited to me. But the whole concern for me still is that whenever anybody at the society who meets me, the first thing that they ask me, Ankit, you're blessed. You must be having a third eye. Really? I always say third eye. Am I the reincarnation of Lord Shiva? But yeah, that's the case, and that's a stereotype I really want to challenge, and perhaps Feroz and Sudha has done exactly that in this particular book, that they have challenged these stereotypes that people with disabilities are not people for inspiration alone. They're not extraordinary individuals with some supernormal power. They are normal individuals with normal human traits. And perhaps today in my talk, I would want to really highlight three of these virtues, perhaps which has helped me in my life, and I believe I've been gifted, and I'm sure when you're going to read this book, you're going to realize that these are the three things which are consistently being reflected, and it does not have anything to do with disability. So the first of my mantra of my life has been acceptance. Accepting my reality, accepting, coming in agreement of my visual impairment. It took me some time. However, acceptance really helped me understand if I'm, I can, what are the things I can do, I can't do. It made me less frustrated. More than anything else, I think it gave me the courage to really face the present and actually prepare for my future. So there have been many such cases where I really felt that yes, acceptance helped me move forward. Second, and the most important part of it, I think the persistence. For me, I always believe that the smartest way to survive and thrive is through hard work. Now there have been many cases, and a lot of people really believe that people with disabilities are blessed, they get lesser standards to really come through. That's never been the case for people with disability. I always believe that yes, people with disability needs to keep performing and perhaps a little notch higher than the others. So they continue to hard work. A case that I would want to really cite is that when I joined my first organization, I didn't know computers so well, and I was very bad with my typing. I had just like 4 words per minute with like 20% accuracy. And the expectation was to really climb to 30 words per minute in 15 days. And those 15 days, I did not sleep. I was just practicing my typing. And I realized at the end of that 15 days, when I managed to really give my test, I achieved a score of 29 words per minute with 100% accuracy. I guess that was phenomenal. And I realized that there's no shortcut to success. You know, you have to succeed, and if you have to succeed, you have to put in your hard work. And I think all persons with disability, whether it is Sandeep, who's phenomenal with his stand-up comedy, or whether it's Abidi or George Abraham, or all the characters who have been reflected in this particular book, they have actually put in a lot of effort, and it's not because of their disability, but in spite of the disability that they have been able to get through what they've done. And I think third thing, which you will find a characteristic in all this 15 people that have been there, is the ability to face and perhaps even defeat failure. We know that yes, disability comes with a lot of failures, it comes with a lot of rejection. My jobs at Infosys, when or at Wipro for that matter, when I got my placement through my campus placement during FMS. Now, that's a place, that's a very interesting marketplace, you know, where a lot of employers come and there's a whole bunch of smart people who are sitting and waiting for employment. Day after day, companies after companies, they kept rejecting me. Some maybe because of disability, some because of somebody else. But I think acceptance within me, yes, disability happens and perhaps people will take a little time. But I could keep continuing with a lot of persistence, and I got a phenomenal job, you know, a dream job with Wipro. Of course, my manager is here, and you know, it's a great. And I think it's been really nice because you know, they've been you know, for me just to understand that yes, rejection is a part of it. Society does not really accept things as they are. Especially with disability, it becomes that much more difficult. So you need to keep fighting your odds. You need to keep perceiving and be resilient. And I think that's the spirit. You know, these three traits of acceptance, persistence, and resilience is what is going to be reflected, and you will find it in all the stories that Sudha and Feroz has written. And I really want to thank Feroz and Sudha for this particular initiative. I'm sure this book is going to go a long, long way, and I think that's what it's all about, being gifted. You just believe in yourself and take a step forward. It has nothing to do with disability. It's all the success, not because of it, it's in spite of it.
Thank you so much, Ankit. Before I call the third hero from the book, maybe let me share the leadership lessons that I learned while writing the book. As I said, when I started writing the book, I was planning to write a leadership book, and I had already decided the title. This was started almost 3 or 4 years back, called Defining Moments, and I'm convinced that I want to finish that next year. When I interviewed these 15 people across 2 years, there were 3 traits that came out, which is what I would also include in my next book. The first interesting trait that I found is what I call as desirable difficulty. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book called David versus Goliath, used the term desirable difficulty. And during the course of my interviews with all these 15 people, they told me something very interesting in different ways. They said, you know, if we were born normal, there's a high chance that we wouldn't be as successful as we are today. Which means in everybody's life, there are difficulties which are desirable. It is okay to go through those difficulties because you maximize your potential. You understand your potential only when you raise the bar yourself, and these bars can only be raised by difficulties that come in your life. So difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, are desirable. The second interesting learning, and this will go into what is the next hero of the book, is what I call as permission to succeed. Almost all the 15 people in the book came and said, you know what, Feroz? Somebody gave me the permission to succeed. You know, we sometimes use the words very loosely. Okay, I had a great manager, I had a mentor, I had a coach, but I'm using the word permission to succeed. Almost all of them said, I wouldn't have been successful if not for somebody who actually gave me the permission to be successful myself. And I'll talk about that in the next 5 minutes. And the third point is what I call as the triumph of the mind over the body. All of them have had amazingly difficult challenges in physical form. Some couldn't see, some couldn't walk, many kinds of challenges. And these physical challenges are lifelong. They fight this on a daily basis. The only reason they have been able to overcome these difficulties is because of the willpower. And that's what I use the term, the triumph of the mind over the body. The third hero in the book was actually referred to me by Vilas Naik, a very dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Vilas. Vilas, as you know, was here last year doing the speed painting. How many of you were there last year when Vilas did the Sachin painting? Many of you were there. And I was talking to him about the book, and he said, Feroz, I want you to speak to Ashwin and Bharat. I think there's some amazing story. This story needs to be told to the rest of the world. And I said, fine, connect me to them. He immediately gave me the phone number. Next day, I spoke to actually Ashwin's mother, and she's here. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. Thank you so much for being here. And she spoke to me very sweetly. And I think this is one of the most moving stories that I've ever read in my life. And she narrated her part of the story as well. He said, Feroz, you know what, when my son was born, the doctor told, you have a doll as a baby. This baby cannot do anything for you. He is born with cerebral palsy, we call it quadriplegic, which means paralyzed both hands and both legs. This will be a doll, you have to take care of it. It will never give you anything in return. And ladies and gentlemen, this year, Ashwin won the President's Award. How many of you want to know that journey? You would want to know that journey, right? And can you believe this? This kid considers Sachin as somebody whom he hero worships. And we all do that, right? How many of you can say that Sachin considers you as your best friend, not the other way around? Sachin's best friend happens to be Ashwin and Bharat. And actually the first time Sachin met Ashwin and Bharat, Sachin opened the room and said, can I be your friend? Because you're such a great inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of Ashwin and Bharat. You will think, okay, what is Bharat? What's the role of Bharat here? Bharat is his best friend. How many of you know about Friendship Day? It was sometime last week. Every year on Friendship Day, you will find the story of Ashwin and Bharat being published by newspapers and so on. Ashwin studied till 12th, was a topper throughout, and then he got an admission to do his engineering. Became the first person in this country with cerebral palsy to get an admission in engineering college. But the problem was, he needed a good scribe for him, a scribe who could write exams on his behalf. Bharat met him. Guess what he did? He dropped his own ambitions to do his engineering, and for 4 years he did the engineering on behalf or for Ashwin by writing all the exams for him. He put his own ambition of doing the engineering beside him. He signed up his life to take care of his friend and make sure that he passes his engineering, and he passed it with flying colors. And what happens when you give away 4 years of your life? Well, you suddenly realize, what do I do now? Right? And Ashwin told him that, you've given your 4 years to me, now I want you to finish your engineering. He went back, finished his engineering and got a job and now works for HP. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Bharat's story. Sudha met them for an interview at Koshi's. You know Koshi's, right? And obviously I've heard about them, but I've never seen them. And so Bharat comes in the car, and I didn't know what to expect. And I can tell you these 15 people, interviewing these 15 people, while they're extremely inspiring, are emotionally draining. This drains you off because it's, as much as it's painful, it's emotional, it's very inspiring, no doubt. And I see Ashwin with his 100-watt smile, hello sir, how are you? And I'm like, hello, great to meet you, and I don't know how to react. And then Bharat comes out, lifts him in his hand, takes him, and we have a plan to chat for an hour. I think we spent close to 2 hours. And he was the one who was feeding him coffee, giving him food on his mouth. And I was amazed at that friendship. I have seen great friendship, ladies and gentlemen, but I've never seen a friend like this before. And I remember speaking to Auntie, Ashwin's mom. She had come last, I think a month back. And I said, ma'am, you are such a great inspiration. What you've done for your son is unbelievable. And she said something that still stuck to my mind. He said, Feroz, what I did, every mother in the world will do for the child. What Bharat has done for Ashwin is 1 in a million. So the last hero I want to invite is Ashwin and Bharat. I want to ask them to come on stage for a minute. I will narrate their story about. You want to know how they met Sachin, by the way? You want to know how Sachin and their relationship is? But let's first hear and get Ashwin and Bharat on stage. Thank you so much. He loves writing poems. He sends me his poems once in a month, right? And I try to tweet them. And he told me about his journey of first meeting Sachin and becoming good friends. And I will let Bharat speak about that. But I think the most difficult phase in Ashwin's life was about getting a job. And he said, Feroz, I've done my engineering. It's 2 years, I have not got a job. And guess what happened? Bharat was desperate to see him get a job and to help him get his confidence back. He stood in the queue. I don't know if you know the chief minister, the former chief minister used to do an open house. So you can go and stand in the queue and meet him and tell him what your problem is. Bharat stood in the queue from 4 a.m. in the morning. He got an appointment at 7 a.m. with the chief minister. He called both Ashwin and his mom and said, please come right away because we've got an appointment with the chief minister. The chief minister said, why don't you go and meet Shanti Raghavan from Enable India? And they got connected with Shanti Raghavan. They helped him. The Enable India is the organization that Shanti and Dipesh runs. Is Shanti here? She was supposed to be here. Dipesh is here. Let's hear it for Dipesh, ladies and gentlemen. A phenomenal guy. They helped him set up interviews and he got a job. And I remember asking him, what did you do with your first salary? He said, Feroz, I went shopping and I bought a sari for my mother, right? I want to spend 1 minute speaking about Enable India because all the proceeds go to Enable India and what they mean to me and I think to the entire segment. You wouldn't believe it's sheer coincidence that all these people whom I spoke about, they somehow spoke about Shanti and Dipesh. They said, Shanti helped me here, they helped me there. Sandeep himself, right? Sandeep, you were also associated with Enable India, and so is Ashwin. I had a lunch with Shanti, who's the founder, along with Dipesh, exactly 2 weeks back, or not 2 weeks, I think 4 weeks back at the SAP canteen. And she is so full of energy. And then we were having lunch, and her primary focus is to provide employment to people with disabilities. He said, Feroz, I want to do something. I said, what do you want me to do? No, I want you to give a job. I said, to whom? do you have jobs for people for 2 hours? I said, I don't know, but I know somebody who employs people even for 2 hours. And I said, what is the skill this person has that you're looking for? Guess what she said? She said, Feroz, I have this person who can only move his eyelids, and I want to give a job to this person. So all that person can do is move his eyelashes. And I was like, are you sure that such a person can be employed? She said, yeah. And by the way, in the last 1 month, we are almost there to provide an employment to a person who can only move his eyelids. Only eyelids. She said, Feroz, can we build a software that we can work along with so that when he does move his eyes, the software can understand what it is doing? Because she fundamentally believes that everybody is employable. It's not about doling out free money. I think they have to earn their own money. And that is what Enable India does, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where all the proceeds of the book would go for. I would like to maybe hand it over to Bharat if he wants to share about his such an experience, or to Ashwin. There's a microphone there. Why don't you share it on your own words? How did this happen?
Yeah, most of them want to hear about Sachin. So whenever we go, whenever see on Facebook, say, how do you know Sachin? So Sachin in fact told me, Bharat and Ashwin, don't be shy enough to tell your story about anyone. Because when we met him, he noticed that we were shy to tell about us. Like I left out 4 years of education for Ashwin, and Ashwin did it. So when Sachin told me, whenever people ask me how Sachin knows you, and please tell why Sachin likes you. So it's because it's way back in 3 years back, when I met Sachin for the first time. So in our home, all of us who knows Ashwin, we all want whatever he accepts. Throughout his childhood, auntie used to tell me that he used to forget all his pain when doing exercise by seeing Sachin's body. So Sachin is like a household name in our house. If we put Sachin's batting and do exercise, Ashwin will be laughing. If not, he'll be crying. So that's how Sachin was very close to us from the beginning. So Ashwin, whenever we both are great cricket fans, so I used to always tell Dravid is my fan and I'm a Dravid's fan, and he used to tell I'm Sachin's fan. So when we used to have a common chat, and he used to always tell me if my dad would have been there, would have definitely made me meet Sachin. So I always had a dream, I want to give a surprise to Ashwin to meet Sachin one day. So that happened to me on 2009 when I met Robin. In 2009 we had awarded as an Young Achiever. Ashwin was awarded an Young Achiever Brigade Group, and I was awarded as a friend in a million. So the chief guest was Robin Uthappa. So we exchanged numbers and we became very close friends. And once when IPL was going on, and then I asked Robin, can we make Ashwin meet Sachin that time? So that time it was very difficult because Robin said the bomb scare were all happened on that day. So I thought, Robin said I will speak to Sachin, but I'm not sure will he be able to meet Ashwin. So on the day RCB lost like anything, and I thought Robin won't talk to Sachin. So before that, Robin told me that I have messaged to Sachin about you guys. Let's see what happens. So after the match, Robin explained me about what happened. After the match, Sachin came to Robin and said, Robin, you wanted to speak to me about something. So Robin briefly explained about us. Then Sachin told, call in front of me and tell them that tomorrow I'm meeting at 12 o'clock, and tell them that Sachin wants to meet both Ashwin and Bharat. So that's how it happened. So next day we went to Royal Garnia, and we went to the reception and said we want to meet Sachin. So she was shocked, you want to meet Sachin? I said, yeah, sir, we want to meet Sachin. So she called up her manager and all. They said they both are telling that they want to meet Sachin. Then they called up and inquired, and Sachin came down and Robin took us. So it was one of the memorable moments so it was all surprise. It was built up to Ashwin. So he didn't know where we were going, and so I told just we are going to meet Robin and his friends. So when he saw Sachin, and always he gives that smile.
And Sachin being Sachin always calls Ashwin on his birthday, whichever part of the world he is, always keeps in touch with him. I know Auntie keeps telling me how simple and humble Sachin is. Yeah, keeps calls. It's funny. It seems one day she was at work and Sachin called her and she was talking to Sachin, and the next her manager, is that Sachin? I want to speak. So I think everybody in the office was talking to Sachin that day. So that's the story of Ashwin and Bharat. Ashwin, you want to say something, please?
First of all, let me thank Feroz and Zura for including our story in the book. I'm not sure we were worthy of that, but for the warm words that he shared with you, I really thank you for that. I want to say that, wherever I have reached today in life, it's my contribution in that is just 0.5%, and the rest of the 99.5% is half of it is standing here, and the rest of it is over there with my mom and my family, my brother. So, I'm just representing their efforts, and I get all the kudos for whatever they did. So, Mom, this is for you, and thank you very much. And I want Feroz to, if he can read this ball poem I wrote today for Gifted.
Thank you. I will. So Ashwin wrote a beautiful poem for Gifted, and I'm honored that I can read on your behalf, Ashwin. So he said, the one who stays up there in the skies gives each one of us a chance to rise. If we have the will, we will be lifted, as he has made all of us equally gifted. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear once again for Ashwin and Bharat. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I want to share a little bit about how the book actually was done, right? People always ask me this, where the hell do you get the time to write the book, right? My problem is I get new ideas every 3 months and I start a new book. So at every point in time I'm writing 5 books, but I've never finished anything, right? Except this one. But this is very special because this was probably the 3rd or the 4th book that I started writing, but actually was the first one that I finished. And this was because I believe this book is not mine. This is 100% crowdsourced. You know what's crowdsourced? Everybody contributes, and I'll share how everybody has contributed to the book. So as I said, when I started writing the book, I wrote 1 chapter on Siddharth, yeah? And then I knew all these 15 people. I knew 20, 25 of them. So I knew the structure. And that's when I said, Sudha, you know what, I just don't get the time. I don't get the time to write. The stories are there, but somehow I have to get it out. And Sudha said, I just finished my book. I have time. Let's do the interviews together. I will write quickly. You can edit it. So it was a fantastic team effort. If I had to write this book myself, it would have been released in 2025. Yeah? So, first of all, and I've written it in the book, that if writing is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration, I've just contributed to that 1%. So the 99% is Sudha's efforts. Now, a good book needs to sell, right? And that's the reality of the industry. And I said, you can write a great book, but if nobody reads it, no point. And almost everybody said this is a non-sellable book. It's not necessarily a viable book. So we said, how do we market the book so that it sells? Because I wanted this book to be a mainstream book. It is not a book which is now distributed to a few NGOs working in the disability segment. I wanted it to be a mainstream book. I wanted Chetan Bhagat to get a fight, man. Right? And everybody said why this book cannot work. And I said, now I'm even more inspired to make it work. So we built a marketing plan around the book. Everybody contributed, and I said, let's make a website. My publisher said, why should you have a website? He said, let's make a video. And I said, video, okay, I don't have the time. And somehow I got connected to Bala sir, and he's a famous documentary maker, filmmaker, multiple awards winner. And I just went to his office. I was on the way to the airport. I went to his office. I said, sir, this is my idea. Within 5 minutes, he said, Feroz, I will do the video for you, free of cost. That's Bala sir here. Thank you so much for making a beautiful video in just 1 week flat. The video needed a voiceover. I reached out to Rashmi. Rashmi has done my interview, if you know, in the radio interview last year, was done by her. She was a radio jockey, and she said, I will do the voiceover for the book, for the video. So she did the voiceover, free of cost. Also, thank you. And you know what? I had the most amazing bookseller as my best friend. How many of you been to Bookworm? It's on MG Road. Guys, you should visit. It's my favorite bookstore. I have been buying books from him for 15 years. And then he said something so beautiful, and this is the greatness of this man. He said, sir, I will not take any profit from this. I will give my profits for gifted. So I will sell the books at 40% discount. Flipkart gave me 25% discount. This man said, I will give you 40% discount for bulk books. The book is released today, and here is the good news. It sold out, and it's gone for reprint on the same day as it was printed. This is a great example of what I call goodwill gone viral. You've seen videos going viral. This is a great example of everybody chipping in. I just got a call before I came from a friend of mine who said, Feroz, I'm buying 50 copies because I want to gift it to my school, to the teachers of the school that my son goes to. How many of you will buy 50 copies of Chetan Bhagat's book? Raise your hands, please. Anybody? People will buy in bulk. By the way, Gifted was not sold out because 8,000 or 10,000 people bought 1 copy each. Actually, people just bought in bulk. They said, gifted should be gifted. So this is very different from Chetan Bhagat's book, which other stuff. This has none of them. But this makes you feel good. So what I want to do at the end is to say thanks to a few people who mean the world to me personally, who've actually done all the work. Like Ashwin said, there's a lot of work that goes behind the doors that people do day in and day out. And I do the song and dance part of it, which is good. I can come and tell you how it works, but there's a lot of people who've been the inspiration behind this book. I've personally gone through a tough time in my own life, and I've shared it very openly in the book. I don't know, have you read the Bangalore Mirror today? Of somebody, if you read it, my interview is there, and I've shared my own life story, which is, by the way, not very easy. And as I said, these are all emotionally draining experiences. To even share them in public is not easy. But I said, I want to share it so that people can learn and accept the challenges that they face. How do I talk about telling people to be open and not be open myself? I've been very open about it. I've written it in my book. One person who goes through the most difficult phase, and this is same across all people that I've interviewed, the person who has the maximum difficulty is the mother of a child. Every mother that I've interviewed have gone through infinite trouble to make sure that the children are successful in their own ways. I bow in reverence to all mothers in this world. When I had my own child with a lot of difficulties, the one person who quit everything so that I can follow on my own career and even my own hobbies was my wife, who, by the way, was my classmate in college, was a topper and I was a bottomer. She was in SAP, was a much better, accomplished software engineer than I ever could be. But she left everything to take care of the child and more importantly, to give me the space to do what I'm passionate about. So, ladies and gentlemen, to my wife, to my son who's gone to a special school now, I thought I should get him here, but if he was here, then my wife couldn't be here because he needs attention all the time. So we sent him to school, and my in-laws, my parents, and I've seen that the success of everybody whom we have met is because somebody else gave the permission to succeed. The permission for me to do what I have to do has been because I have a fantastic support system of parents, of friends, of in-laws, of everybody who contributed to whatever little I could contribute. Ladies and gentlemen, I have only one request. While we will sign the books, while you will all get free copies, I request you to gift one copy of the book to your best friend. Thank you so much. You know, Chetan Bhagat has put a full-page ad on the front page of Times of India. Difficult to compete with him, but that takes a lot of money. But I hope all of you will spread the word. Somebody asked me, what's the number you are looking at? I said, you know what, if one person's life is improved by reading the book, I think it was worth the effort. So spread the word. I would be happy to sign the books, but I have only one request. If you take my signature, you have to take the signature of the heroes of the book as well. Because this book is about Sandeep, it is about Ashwin and Bharat, it is about Ankit. Okay? I would also like to call some of my very dear friends to unveil a beautiful portrait made by Vilas Nayak as a gift for the cause of Gifted. What he did was painted the cover of Gifted, and my idea was to take the signatures of all the 15 people. They are all across the country. I don't know how we will ever achieve that. But I hope whenever I meet them, they will put the signature on the Gifted. So I will first ask Vilas to come on stage and help me unveil. And also I will call Bala sir, Rashmi, Ankit, Bharat's mom, Sandeep, all my friends who have contributed. Can you please come on stage? And last but not the least, let me tell you very frankly, a lot of what this is possible is because FAP as a company has given me the freedom to dream big. When I shared the idea of writing this book with Bill McDermott's assistant, and I shared with him only because he was a good friend of mine. He was selected as the Young Global Leader this year. And I wrote to him, Alex, by the way, I'm writing this book, etc., etc. He said, you know what, can I share this with Bill? I'm sure he would love to support it. He wrote to Bill. Within a week, Bill read 2 chapters of the book and wrote a beautiful blurb for the book. Said, Feroz, go for it. We will support you. The first 1,000 copies will be bought by FAP. I've got a lot of love from the people in the book. The kind of blurbs that people have written for the book has been extremely moving, right from Arun Shauri, Nasiruddin Shah, Nandita Das. They've all written beautiful blurbs. And by the way, we went and asked them because they worked for the cause. People said, why did you put Nasiruddin Shah's name on the top? I said, he has been one of those guys who worked for the cause of blind. I don't know how many of you have seen his serial on Doordarshan, which is called Nazariya Nazariya. I went to his house in Bombay to meet him. Within 5 minutes, he said, Feroz, I will come for the India Inclusion Summit. I will do a play for India Inclusion Summit free of cost, and I will write a blurb for Gifted. I think there is no dearth of goodwill in this country. Everybody have come forward to help and support. So I would like that the unveiling of this happens by the real heroes who helped us with the book. So Ashwin, Bharat, ma'am, I want you to come as well. My wife and my in-laws who helped me be where I am. By the way, this is my last day at SAP Labs. I'm moving to Palo Alto. So I thought this could be my best gift to the lab that has made me what I am. I will be moving to SAP Labs Palo Alto. In fact, tomorrow will be my official last day there. I will continue to do the job of head of globalization services from the US. I will keep coming here, and I will always be a well-wisher of this lab. Come, please. Sir. And my wonderful team, where is Jaideep and Nachiket? Nachiket, can you come here please? Nachiket is the guy who designed for the book. You should know that the publisher said, can you capture every chapter with a simple sketch? Nachiket did this in 3 weeks. He's I think one of the best designers in this company. He's a hidden jewel, not many people know about him. This is Krishna, the bookseller. He himself sold 2,000 copies just by word of mouth. Just by word of mouth. You know, it's so sweet. He came to me today and he said, sir, I've got a gift for you. What is that? He said, this is a book signed by the 10 boys. So, no dearth of goodwill. Who else is there? I hope I'm not missing anybody here. My team here. Come, Jaideep, Peter. Is there? I hope I didn't miss anybody. And of course, Dilip here, he had promised he will come. Where is Dilip? Dilip, where are you standing there? Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a big round of applause for Dilip Khandelwal, who is our new managing director. Come. A very dear friend, and I'm sure the lab is in safe hands. Thank you so much for your support. Isn't it ironical that my last event in labs happens to be your first big event here? So Dilip was always very supportive. He said, "I will come." So I don't know. I was searching for you somewhere hidden. So maybe it's apt if you do the honors along with the rest of the others. Come. Vilas and Ashwin and Sandeep, come. Can you help us unveil gifted? Come, please, Ankit. Good. Let's hear it once again for all of them here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day and lots of success. And if you happen to be in Palo Alto, do meet me. Okay. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to sign any books that you want. Thank you. Take care. And yes, one last thing. Where is Dipesh? Dipesh is here from Enable India. Dipesh, can you come? So I got an advance money of 1.5 lakhs from Random House. I would like to hand it over to Enable India. This is what you get as an advance money. Chetan Bhagat, I think, got some 3.5 crores or something. Not so much, but whatever, right? I don't know that figure, don't quote me, 3.5 crores. But I got 1.5 lakhs, and Dipesh, I would like to hand this over to you. And they've been very kind. They said, Firoz, instead of giving the money, we'll buy books with that money, and we'll give it to all our well-wishers. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. If you want signed books, please come here and I'll be happy to sign them as well.
అక్కడ ఇక్కడ కిరణ్ ನೀವೇ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಅವರು ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಅವರ